Hey friends, have you ever had a book that just wouldn't lay flat? Today I'm going to disassemble a book that I've got going for a project. I thought that you might like to see my process in case you've ever got a workbook, a cookbook, a pattern book, whatever that you would like to lay more flat. So I am a quilter and I'm about to lead a series on Tula Pink's 100 Modern Quilt Blocks. But for my kind of top-down camera footage, I want the book to be able to lay flat as I'm working on the different blocks throughout this book, but you can see it just doesn't. So here's where we're going to start. Have you ever seen happy planner things or things that are disc bound? These are individual discs. You can buy packages of these on Amazon. Happy planner things, I think, are available at Michael's craft stores. I'm certain other places online have them. But what you're going to need is a specialty punch from Happy Planner. And the way those work is they make a T-shape that kind of has a mushroom top on them. And it's just like sort of a regular hole punch. I did a whole stack that way. And that's the punch that you get with that kind of a punch. And then the discs just slide in. Okay, so the critical things are the punch and the discs, kind of obviously, and your book. And it's just knowing how to get your book apart. If your book is only glue bound, that means that glue is holding the pages into the spine. We're going to use heat to get those out. On the outside chance that some of these pages have more, they have little folds of paper that are called a signature on the inside that might be more sewn in. I've got some cutting tools. So I have a sliding cutter, and then I also have a box cutter. And this is one that has a better, holding it upside down. Don't hold it upside down for safety's sake. All right, let's try again. Okay, so there's the box cutter with, I got a new blade going on it. And I did actually have to go ask how you get the new blades to come up. I had kind of tried and I wasn't getting that blade to come off. My husband got pliers and just held them and then just bent down. There's one side that's scored, and then he just got his pliers and bent it down. So that's how you get a new blade on those if you need to. Put that away. I do have one of my quilting acrylic rulers just as a straight edge in the event that I do need to use this to help me. What else? Oh. If you have something that is like a Silpat baking sheet, I don't know that I would use your good Silpat brand baking sheets. This is a set that I bought from Walmart that were quite inexpensive. And I got 3 sizes in the set. Sorry. I've got 3 sizes in the set. And the idea is you could use these Silpat sheets to protect your tabletop. But I'm working on a wood table, so I don't want any issues because I'm going to be using a really strong heat source. If you've not seen one of these, it's an air blower. I don't know what you call it. It's an air dryer that artists use to help dry their paint faster. And so these actually have quite a lot of heat. It will scorch paper. It would certainly scorch a wood table. So that's why I'm working in a metal tray with the Silpat. And its use is actually more interesting. You would think it was going to go like top down, which I guess you could. But the thing that we really want to do is we want to protect these plastic pages on the back from bubbling. And so the Silpat is going to go here to protect those pages as we put heat down the middle. So play around with it. If your technique is burning your pages, put the Silpat on top. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Any other tools? I have a good sharp pair of scissors if you're a quilter, a sewist. These are not your fabric scissors. And I've been cutting seam to seam too. My scissors are all gunky. So you might watch that. Clean scissors. Okay. If you don't know, I'm Holly. This is the Happy Quilty People channel. I'm here just to encourage you to try quilting as a hobby. I think it's an amazing hobby. I love it. And so I like to share tips, tricks, anything to do with the quilting lifestyle, just so that other people can fall in love with it as much as I have. All right, here we go. This is a discarded library book that I got from Thrift Books. If you've never bought used books, you should give it a try. All right, I've got my gun on high, and I just want to warm up the spine. You're going to be really, really careful with hands that you're keeping them away from this heat source. My spine does have a layer of tape over it because it's got the layer from the library. I don't know, their extra whatever they put on there. All right, I just wanted to kind of warm that up before we got started. Those heat guns, I really think you can probably get a good one for maybe $25 or less from Amazon. Maybe even, I don't know, I think that might be about the most you're going to spend. All right, so the advice I heard was to start in the middle. I think I'm seeing some sewn signatures. Let's just see. Okay, I want to start at the front of the book. Let's just give that a try because I feel like I would rather not have my pages coming out from the middle. I feel like that's how I'm going to get them mixed up. So I'm going to go to lower heat now. We're just trying to warm up the glue. I'm going to save the back and the front cover and hole punch them as well. I want the book to still look complete. All right. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's really peeling off. All right, I'm seeing a few holes inside of here. I think this, if this was all glued, it would be coming apart easily. Okay. All right, can you see what's happening? I've got one little piece of paper here holding the spine and the cover on to the inside of the book. Maybe two. Let's see. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and need to cut that cover off. All right. So where there's a fold line, that's what I'm going to just try to run down. Go slow. Just like with a rotary cutter. Close it up before you set it down. All right. Now, let me pull that up so you guys can see. So it's just really rough paper for now. All right, let's see. I'm going to give peeling this papery piece one more shot. And then if that doesn't work, I'll divert and go to trying the middle of the book. Again, hands out of the way. This little device, not only is it great for art purposes, every time I end up with a price tag, kind of a sticker on something, whether it's a book, clothes, I don't know, something, anything sticky and adhesive, I'll pull this out, warm up that tag a little bit, and it just comes off 100 times better than it would without that. All right, this will still be warm, so just be careful. Okay, let's see what's happening. Okay, well, that's getting me into the first little layer of kind of excess paper. Yeah, that's going to get it off. It's just, I'm going to turn my heat up. Let's go for it. There we go. Okay, that just slid right out. It's still a little bit gummy. We can work on that later. We can cut it off if we need to. It might be just fine. Okay. Would really love it if that whole piece, if the whole spine would just come away, but I don't think it's going to. I think I am going to have to start in the middle. Okay, let's move my little trash pile out of the way here. All right, so that's about middle of the book. Getting it open. And then we'll run those up. Keep the heat moving. Okay, that ripped. Okay, there we go. That pulled away nicely. All right, looking toward the back, I'm going to lay these face down. And I'm probably going to need to work in a few page increments at a time. Okay, I can see that I do have like maybe little stitch marks, but because it was glued, it's coming out really pretty cleanly. Oh yeah. When I go to put this back together, I will be very careful about where my page numbers are at because I think it's highly likely I will have flipped something around and gotten it out of order. Let me get you up in here and see the little stitch signature. You can see that there are some stitches, but it's stitches in combo with glue. I don't know at this point if we really need the silk pad. Oh, look, I've already got my cover flipped back. There we go. 2 of those smaller sizes with this book would actually be ideal. This isn't a very tall book. I hope that's not messing up your view of it. Okay. If you are starting to burn the paper, you might smell it. You might see it starting to scorch a little bit because it will do that. So because these pages were put in this way, they're coming out 2 at a time. So whatever book you're working with, you'll just kind of see whatever the signature pages were when they went in together, 2 at a time, something different than that. A signature means the place where a group of pages is folded together. So if multiple pages went in together, they'll need to come out at the same time. This one started to rip. And so I'm going to start trying to pull it from the other direction. 2 at a time. So where it ripped here, that's not going to work great when I go to punch that. So what I'll do is I'll run a piece of tape and just fold it over. Masking tape would be fine, maybe a washi tape, I mean even packing tape, just whatever you've got, just to give it some stability on that corner. All right, that, I don't know what you would call it, like the end page before the back cover has quite a lot of stickiness on the edge. So that may be one that I need to trim on my little paper trimmer. Okay. I don't know that I'm really feeling like, I don't know if the Silpat's doing anything or not. We shall see. All right, so what's going to happen here is I'm not going to save the spine part, but I will save the back cover. So I think I'm going to leave it for now for getting the rest of the book pages out. I think that might just kind of help keep it stable. All right, I'm going to flip it around, give the outside a little more heat, because I'm just thinking of loosening up that glue. And remember, I kind of already opened it up to this side. My apologies to all the bookmakers, all the librarians, everybody who is cringing to see the book coming apart. I promise I do value books. I actually have a really large book collection. I am aiming to have what is technically considered a library, which I think is 1,000 books. I haven't counted, mostly because I just think I will lose count. My son was telling me the other day that there's something that you can do that you, which way am I going? Down. That you can buy a kind of a scanner thing to scan the barcode on your books, and it will, there's maybe an app or something that will categorize your books, you know, kind of document them so you know how many you've got. I do often order used books I've found some really great books that way. I can really remember one instance when I was maybe like disappointed in the quality buying a used book, but usually it's not much more than the wear and tear that would have occurred from your book sitting on your shelf. You know, kind of the corners dented in. It's not a fresh, brand spanking new book, but completely readable, completely fine. Back back when we used to have actual real paper textbooks for college, I loved buying used textbooks and sorting through the stacks of used textbooks to find someone who had read and highlighted their books, because I figured that was putting me a step ahead. If someone had already made good highlights of their material, it helped me be able to just study the material that much more quickly. One of the best things I've ever found buying used books is I ordered a K Facet quilting book, and it was just listed as a used book. Like there wasn't anything special about it, but it got to me and Kate had autographed it. And so that was fun. I have had Kate in person autograph a couple of books. And yeah, I do know which ones like he did for me in person and the ones that he just autographed that I just happened to get. So that's kind of fun to grab a used book that's, you know, actually an autographed book. Okay, there's what my spine looks like. You can see the little kind of thread remnants, but the pages have pulled out away from those threads very easily. This is one of those end pages that's, I don't know if it's glued. I think it's a little glued. Let's heat it up and see if we can't get that one out. Oh yeah, very easy. Okay, here's some stickers. Let me see if we can get those up. And just in case you didn't see, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere I had a discarded sticker. I think I took it off because I was filming the front cover already. But just so you know, I don't live in Norfolk, Massachusetts. I'm a Texas girl. On all my videos, I try to put the location as Texas so that if anybody ever can't like think of my name or, you know, where to find me, they can maybe search Texas and quilting and find some stuff. All right, that's coming up a little bit. Let me try again. Okay, now this sticker has foil on the inside of it, so I'm going to be careful not to touch that foil. Oh yeah, look at how easily that comes off. Nice. Oops. Okay, that one started peeling away from the foil. Okay. A little more. And if you peel off stickers on books like this that it leaves too much adhesive, something that you could do is come back in with washi tape and just cover that up. The washi tape will be decorative. if you don't like the adhesive. All right, there we go. Now I won't alert anything if I ever take my book back to that library. Okay, let's see. I think now what we need to do is trim here and here, and then trim those adhesive pages off. All right, it's been a while since I've used this paper cutter, so let's test it out. Let's do a little test piece. Okay, why was that gunky? Okay, so what I've just learned about my little cutter here is it probably needs a new blade, but do I know where a new blade is? No. So I think what's working is it's jamming if I'm pressing down hard at the start and stop of the paper. So I think I may start cutting and then go up. Does that make sense? Not jam it into the piece of paper, because that's where it was catching. All right, I'm going to turn it so that I can, there's the discarded. I knew it was somewhere. I didn't imagine it, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to go with my little razor raised. I'm going to go up and then back, and then starting on the paper. All right, and that piece was wrapped into the spine, so I don't think that's going to change the size of my pages a great deal. Oh, no, it did. Okay, well, that one's just going to be more insided. All right, now let's try. I think I want to come over here so I don't have so much crumbly mess. Let's just trim that crumbly mess out of the way. Okay, now let's see this. Let's compare my pages. Yep. Measure your page and then cut. It may be a little bit into the spine, but cut so that your cover doesn't come out smaller than your pages. All right. Ooh. All right, that didn't cut all the way through. Ooh, not at all. It's got a bunch of tape and stuff right there. Okay, I'm going to line it back up. Try again. There we go. Now, okay, so you can see how it got a little bit of kind of the part that starts to fold over into the spine, and that's to make it, get an interior page to measure against. That's to make it the same size as the pages. Where to get a cutter like this if you don't have one? Any sort of a office supply, teacher supply kind of a store might have things like this. Pretty sure this is a scrapbooking supply. So if you see someone selling out their old scrapbooking supplies, that might be a potential place. Okay, now I'm aligning it with the page, but then take the page out. It came out. Okay, here we go. All right, now I will get my pages back in order and then start to use my disc bound hole punch. So inside my back cover, this edge was rough, so I taped it. This is where those stickers were that were just a little bit tacky, so I just put some washi tape over them. Washi tape comes in multiple widths. You can find what you like. I did also have an artist's masking tape that I think might be archival. So if your book was precious to you and you wanted it to be archival, look for an archival tape. And then I just wanted to show you how I'm doing that. So if you've never used washi tape, it's quite thin. It's easily tearable, but I think it will be enough just to give a little extra support. I guess maybe the word would be like it's workable. So I know that's where I will be hole punching into. So I just wanted to make sure that was nice and smooth and sturdy. Okay, and then there was a page. Here's my page that tore. And so I wanted to go ahead and do that page. Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to try it here. We'll see how it goes. That page just may not ever really open up smoothly. Why is that not opening smoothly? Do I have glue or something there? I think if I tape from this side, it's going to get less maybe on the back page. We'll see. If this page ends up buckling where they're attached, I can just cut them apart. And again, I'm just looking to reinforce that so that when I use the disc bound hole punch on it, it keeps it kind of together. I don't know. That may want it as well. I'm going to do some there too. There we go. All right. So now I've got my pages back in order. I did get them all out of order. And I'll start hole punching. Back half of the book. So my punch does have markings. Let's see how these line up. All right. Does it have a stop here? Neither end really has a stop. I wish it did. I would like to just be able to do that by feel a little bit more. All right. So what I'm going to do is there's a line right here, and that's where I'm always going to line my page up to. I know you guys can't see, but I got to set that flat or else I'm going to mess it up. Okay, I'll come back and show you how to put the discs in once they're all punched. My cover getting inside of here was a really tight fit, and so something I did was I grabbed a piece of paper and just put it in beside my cover so that I could see when the paper was fully seated. Then I could see that if my cover was at the same place on the inside, I could see that it was fully settled in. And I just really had to work my cover and shimmy it back and forth a little bit. It might be slightly less in than a piece of paper, but I think it's probably as good as I'm going to get it. Okay, wish me luck. Here we go. There we go. All right, I'm going to do it one more time just for good luck. Okay. Yay. And now what will happen is the rings will go in. It can glide. Yay. Because your pages, they may have notches from pulling out of the thread. They're going to be a little rough. They might have bits of glue. If you've added tape, it's going to have tape. So all of that to say, you're not going to have the smoothest edge here. So you may have to really wiggle it back and forth to get it to go into your hole punch. Just make sure it's fully in before you press. And my particular hole punch says maximum of 3 sheets. So if you had a choice, I would get one that could hold more sheets than that. Just for grins. All right, there's the whole thing all punched. Oops. So everything's all punched really rough. I'll stack it back up and start to put it in my rings. My rings are 35 millimeter size rings. All right, I punched a piece of scrap paper for some color. This makes some really satisfying confetti. It's little mushroom shapes. So I'm starting with the cover. Just going to pop those little rings in there. And then I'll just have to align a few pages at a time and work them in as well. So to get the pages on, you can take the group that you punched together and you just press down very gently and they go into the, I don't know, there's a raised lip on the outside and they just move to the inside. Slide them along. I'm almost to the end here. This will go pretty quickly for you. So the project I'm doing with this book is 100 quilt blocks in 100 days. And so as I film each quilt block, I wanted to be able to open the book up flat so I can discuss the quilt block and just let it be seen on screen so people know what we're doing. That was going to be really challenging with the book that just wouldn't stay open flat. And here's a page that I did tape with washi. You can see it just goes on nicely. It works just fine. And the back cover, yay! All right. So it's obviously, I don't know, fatter in the middle than it was as a book once it's unbound. So if, let's say, you wanted to be, you know, at the end of a book and it was going to be higher on one side and more than the other, the great thing about this is you could just swip around some more pages until you can get the flat lay that you want. Okay, friends, that's it. It really just took a little time to just work with the pages, to get them apart, then to get them punched, and then together on the rings. The rings was probably the fastest part, putting them back in the rings. So here's my book. I'd love it if you are a quilter or interested in sewing, if you would join me for this quilt along. The challenge for Happy Quilty people is to do 100 blocks in 100 days. It doesn't have to be this book. It could be whatever blocks that you want to do. I think 100 blocks in 100 days is entirely doable. If you're a beginning sewer, I suggest that you do this improv, which just means that you're just cutting out your fabric with a pair of scissors, throwing it together, something that looks like an approximation of these blocks. In general, these are very straight lines to sew. There's only a few that are even half square triangles that would have a diagonal line in them. So I think that you'll find this an enjoyable thing to sew. So I hope you'll enjoy us for the Tula Pink 100 Modern Quilt Blocks. I hope you'll join along, and we'll see you soon on the Happy Quilty People channel. Thanks, friends.